with about 13 items. So we'll try and get through it. We do have one executive session tonight on item number 7, which will require us to leave the public portion of this meeting, go into a private exec session, and come back out. And that's a continuation of the consideration of employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, individual agent that we are continuing from our last meeting. And again, sorry for my voice. It's held up, but I'm still just getting over a cold. So we don't have any pre-submitted public comments, and we don't really have any changes to the agenda tonight as it stands, but we are going to add a note about the, sorry, I'm submitting somebody, the bond measure for the Dallas High School. We'll be adding that to the agenda tonight, and Marie has information on that for us. Thank you, Marie. The consent agenda, we're going to hold that off until our next meeting because, as you all know, we're being assisted by the ESD, and it's a little more complicated than just looking at our check registers or credit cards. So we'll have that prepared for our September meeting, and we'll cover the August and September and anything we may have missed from the summer. That brings us to item number 5, which is our MTA report. Welcome back.
Good to be back. I'm reporting on behalf of myself and for Mary Ellen, who is stuck in some traffic in Portland, so she couldn't be here. But our MTA report, the staff have been busy this summer traveling, taking courses, working, tutoring, and enjoying family. Many teachers have begun planning for the beginning of the school year and are excited to get back into the building and set up their classrooms. Mary Ellen and I have met with Jen a couple of times this summer to collaborate and keep communication open. The leadership team has also met to discuss systems and focal points for this coming year. All in all, we are excited to start this new year with an amazing staff. So that's the MTA report on behalf of Mary Ellen and myself. And I hope everybody else had a great summer too.
Thank you. Next, item number 6 is the executive director report. These are updates, school news, staff updates, enrollment. Jen, would you like me to share the emails from my screen? Give me 1 second, I'll pull that out.
Okay, thanks. Do you know, will that link work, Dan, if I click on the attachment?
Maybe. I'll see.
Okay.
I haven't saved, so they were Google Docs that I downloaded and saved in my computer. So I put everything in the same file for each meeting so that I have it in one place. So I don't have to. I still search and fumble around a bit. I'm sure it seems that way for the meeting.
Even if it doesn't, you and I talked, so I have a better way to present it anyway. So.
Okay, just let me know as I'm going through. I'm going to pull that up real quick here.
Okay, great.
All right, let me know if you can see that, if it looks appropriate.
There we go. Perfect. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. It's really good to see you. So I am extremely excited to report that our enrollment has gone up. We've gotten some return students, and we've gotten a lot of new families. So I'm very excited to say that our current enrollment is at 164. Which I believe is 10 more than the last time I reported. Some updates are that, so the teachers have requested, and I've also granted permission for us to have a community dinner and a meet and greet prior to the beginning of school. And that is going to be on August 31st. And Jill Maynard, one of her parents, is planning the community dinner that evening, and the teachers will have their classrooms ready for parents and students to visit. It's also an opportunity for parents to bring in classroom supplies instead of having their children bring them in on the first day of school. So I hope that all of you are able to join us that evening. Dawn, Ashley, Valerie, and myself have been working really hard on the library. We've been updating and making improvements. And if you remember, Margaret Elkin had solidified a grant specifically to upgrade our library filing system to a computer-based filing system. So that is in process. Additionally, the vision of making it a more inviting library for the students is finally coming to fruition. We can't wait for everyone to see it during the meet and greet on Thursday, August 31st, and for the students to see it on the first day of school. Can you scroll down? Thank you. Teachers return on Monday, August 28th, and several board members have agreed to help prepare breakfast for the staff. So thank you to those of you who are able to help. And I know some of you are not able to help, but we will definitely miss you, those of you that are not there. I have ordered a new science curriculum for this coming year. It is called Inspire Science. It's by McGraw-Hill. I've chosen to pilot it for 1 year to just make sure that it is a good fit for what we're looking for. It's based on what we call the 5E model. So the students they explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and engage. It has a larger hands-on component than the science curriculum that we had used the last 3 years. And there's less computer-based activities, which is one of the reasons that we chose it. I will keep you posted on what the students and the teachers think of the curriculum as we go through the year. I am in the process of interviewing for some TA positions, and we are going to start interviewing for the business manager position. So these are some requests that I have. So I would like to schedule a substitute for 1 day per month to allow teachers the opportunity to observe other teachers in their classroom. Teachers made this request in the past. It'll allow them to observe their colleagues for collaboration and for learning opportunities. So that's one request that I do have. I would also like to discuss maybe moving one of our TAs to a lead TA position who would just help with scheduling and observing and training all of the TAs. As new TAs come in, it's really helpful to have someone that can head up training them and just working with them throughout the year. It just really allows the ED to kind of free up some of that time, and there's somebody outside the entire time that can kind of keep an eye on things if there's any questions. And then the goal would be that the ED would meet with the lead TA every week to just find out any important information, if there's anything, any concerns or anything that needs to be answered, any questions and things like that. I think it would be a valuable position to have, and I know the TAs have kind of said it'd be great to have one person that we could go to. I don't think you need to do the attachment, Dan. So what I'm requesting is if we could hire a full-time kitchen cook in the kitchen, that would be really, really helpful, because right now we know that we have moved Dawn to a position with lots of different roles. And the cook we had last year only wants part-time. So I'm requesting that we have just one full-time cook in the kitchen, and then we could have Dawn help out during lunch and be sort of that part-time help. That would really be helpful, and it would help us cover the kitchen. It would not increase any of the allotted hours in the kitchen. I would also like to request, I don't have an amount, but a stipend for having a middle school lead teacher. It actually, last year, it was a pretty big role. They helped organize all the field trips, and any additional work, just really kept up on everything from electives and changes, and oversaw all of the kind of activities happening in the middle school, which are a lot. And we've had teachers doing that role in the past, and it is a lot of work. And I would just love to request that we could compensate them for that additional work. And if there's a board member that could kind of work with me on what would be a reasonable amount or stipend for that, that would be great. I'm going to skip the next one because I feel that we can keep that at the 3 full-time and 3 part-time TAs. So I'm going to scratch that next request. I did get a request, and I know we had chosen last year to not have gym rentals anymore. I got this request from a youth volleyball coach, had asked if they would be able to rent our gym. I felt it was a little bit different of a situation because they are school age kids, and it is really difficult to find gyms in the area that can be rented. So this is just what he wrote to us. I coach club volleyball in the Gorge, girls U14 and possibly a U16 team this year. As you're probably aware, gym space can be very difficult to find. I'm curious to know if you're willing or able to rent out space to local organizations, and if so, how the process works. We will, of course, be a registered entity recognized by AAU and USA Volleyball and carry all of the appropriate insurances. We'll be looking to secure, most likely across several gyms, 2 up to 3 nights per week, most weeks from mid-November through late March and early April. So I would just love to bring that to you guys as a possibility. And we can scratch the last request.
All right, thank you, Jen. On those requests, a lot of it, I think, needs a little bit more, just, I guess, information on the costing that goes along with that. So for, you know, whether it's a stipend, even a stipend for lead TA, what that looks like, just for the school, and then also with I think the substitutes per day per month is an awesome idea, but it's just the knowledge of, okay, what does that end up being? Is it, you know, I know that kind of generally it's $200 some odd for a substitute per day.
Yep.
But it's, you know, that times how many, do we have the capacity to do that with our substitute stock of people, and then what's the overall cost of that?
Yeah. So we do have someone who is interested in that, and it would be I'd have to find the exact, it's 200 and something, so that it would be that each month.
Okay. On these requests, I know the kitchen is a very important one to have nailed down prior to the start of the school year. Some of the other ones seem like something we could still work on.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if Avelia's raised her hand. Go ahead, Avelia.
On the kitchen one, Jen, you said that currently the cook wanted it to be part-time only.
Yeah.
What would happen with this cook, or what's your proposal for this half part-time cook if you're wanting to bring someone full-time?
So I have 3 part-time TA positions still open, and I would love to offer her that. I also feel that it would be a lot less stressful for her, and I would like to give that as an option. I would first offer the full-time, and if that was something they really didn't want, I would love to offer them one of the part-time TA positions.
Does anyone else have any questions for Jen about these asks? Marie or Julia?
Yeah, and I apologize, Jen. It's not totally clear to me how how much the cook position is changing. And so right now we have, last year we had Dawn helping out and then someone part-time in the kitchen. Is that right?
We had Dawn helping out and we had a full-time cook. And
So,
then,
yep.
And then Dawn got pulled out and we ended up taking one of our TAs and having them part-time in the kitchen. So we had 1 full-time, 1 part-time. And
So this would still continue the full-time cook we had last year. How is it different?
Yeah. So it really wouldn't be different. It would just be a full-time cook, and then Dawn would end up filling the part-time position in the kitchen. What we're missing is the current individual in the kitchen does not want full-time.
I just want to make one point, and then I'll get to Avelia. I think with that clarification, I don't think you need board approval to do that because you're not making any changes to any FTEs.
Correct. I just realized that. Yeah.
FTEs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're
empowered to try and make those moves
Okay,
and
thank
see what
you.
happens there.
Okay, thank you.
Jen, on
Amelia, go
your,
ahead.
oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
I just had one more thing, which is Jen, on your stipend request, I think it's a good idea, and something to consider. I looked at the collective bargaining agreement for Hood River, which details several stipends.
Yeah.
And so I can give you some figures on that. I'd say
Awesome.
generally, I don't want to misstate myself, but I think they range from like $1,500 to $500, depending on who. So that's for the Hood River's got a teacher mentorship program. Sorry,
Yep.
the baby's getting into the dog water bowl.
No worries.
That's the tastiest water.
Crawling is a whole new, whole new thing. Anyway, I would be happy to just share that with you. And I know it's something that there was discussion of also at other roles for the more junior teachers to have a more senior teacher as a designated mentor. And that's something it seems like other districts do, or Hood River does at least, and they have a formal mentorship program, and we could just learn from all of the research they've put into theirs for the pay scale. And I'm happy to work with you on that.
Great, thank you. And I know in the past, we've always kind of had a middle school teacher who took the lead on everything. And I just feel like they were never compensated. And I think it's important that it's something we look at.
I think it's something the board would need to approve, but if the board did approve, I would be happy to work with you.
Okay, great. And we can talk about that in September once we have information at the next board meeting. Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you. I want to make sure we go ahead, Avelia. Sorry.
Sorry. Going back to the cook, I guess I just want to make I guess I'm just having trouble understanding, making sure that we're not changing a position or putting someone in a spot they don't want to be in.
Yeah. So the current person who's in there now has stated that she does not want full-time at all. But unfortunately, the need is we need a full-time person in the kitchen. So the offer will be made to them that they, to be the full-time cook. If they really just don't want that, I would then like to offer them one of the open part-time TA positions, because that's what they really only want part-time. Does that help, Avelia? Yeah, I want to make sure that there are other options for that individual.
And Jen, do you have someone who would be interested in the full-time cook position then, or would we be needing to hire?
I have someone that's interested in that. Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure there's no other requests on there that we're missing.
The only one I would want to just kind of talk about is the gym rental. If that's a possibility, or if we really don't want to visit. And I just feel this is a little bit of a different, this is a youth organization.
Right.
But
I mean, every part of me wants to say yes, but at the same time, we're still not done with our security upgrades.
Yep.
We've got a whole bunch of construction work that's going to be happening where there's going to be times where they're going to probably need the evening to use that. And that space over there in particular is where a lot of work's going to be coming and going.
Well, and the other thing,
so I don't know if we have enough information yet to be able to say yes or no.
Okay. And they don't need it until mid-November. So we have time on that. And hopefully by then we've had some of the security upgrades done.
Certainly.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe if we could figure out when they need, I mean, November, like everything else, will be here before we know it. But
yeah,
they have an idea of kind of what their lead time is, and we can work towards, figuring that out as a board and as a community, what people are comfortable with.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yeah, that's great to see the enrollment increasing. That's awesome. That's 10 more from the last month, right?
Yeah, 10 more. And we still have some that we're just waiting on completed applications. So it's, I feel it's going to increase again more. So
that's really exciting. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me pull up the agenda again.
Jen, I'm just going to ask a question out of curiosity, and it's my own ignorance about how the beginning of the year works, but have teachers been in touch with all of the families that are returning? Are they putting together lists for the classroom or does that happen next week or what's the process?
So like class supply lists went out, were put on the website a month ago and they went to like Walmart and local stores. The meet and greet, unfortunately, we don't really have a way to notify all families of like which teacher they're going to have. So at the meet and greet, we're going to have that information for parents. So at least the kids will know that before they come to school. And did you have another question, Julia?
I think that covers it.
Okay.
I was just sort of curious about, because it is sort of a rocky enrollment year and try to figure out numbers, whether contact had been made with the families to sort of confirm that people are returning or whether there might be.
Yeah. So Daphne is on that. She's been doing that since she got back. And it's an ongoing thing that she's doing every day and she's worked really hard at it. And she is the reason that, we have that constant contact and she works really hard on that. So she's on that.
Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate all the work you and Daphne have been putting in.
Thank you.
Since August. Yeah, thank you.
I just want to bring up supplies for the MTA, the staff, and for you, Jen. If we start the year and we find we have areas of need, please reach out to us. Let us know, let the families and the community know if we weren't able to get some of the things that were requested.
Thank you. And I just wanted to let you guys know. So I am going into the district tomorrow. I have a meeting with their business manager to kind of just go over a bunch of stuff. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item number 7, which is our executive session. So this public meeting will close. The board members will go into exec session and then we'll come back out and start the public meeting again. So thank you all for being here and we'll see you in a little bit. Any board members that if you don't have the exec session, please text me and I'll make sure you have it.